Gulf. The silence of the dark waters was shattered by an invisible force that no one saw coming. On the screens of Iran's Integrated Defense Operations Center, the indicators went from green to red, then to black. Internal control servers entered an endless reboot loop. Coastal radar stations stopped responding. In less than 40 seconds, the most sophisticated defense network in the Persian Gulf became a set of isolated, blind, and terrified outposts. The scythe was already at the adversary's throat, but the prey still didn't know it was dying. 120 nautical miles away, the destroyer USS Carney sailed in silence, absolute, without emitting a single electronic signal. Its launch tubes were preloaded, its coordinates perfect, just waiting for an order. This was not a battle, it was an execution carried out in total silence. Iran believed it had activated the strike, lethal of the century, by converting the Strait of Hormuz into a geopolitical lever capable of paralyzing the global economy. But they were about to discover that pressing that button is the easy part. The hard part is surviving what comes next. Welcome to the analysis of the most silent and devastating operation ever executed in the Persian Gulf. The board was set, and Iran believed it controlled the rules of the game. For months, Tehran had executed a
gray zone strategy with calculated precision, harassment of oil tankers, ostentatious military exercises, threatening statements broadcast on national television.
The distant objective was clear: convert the Strait of Hormuz, through which 20% of the world's oil transits, into a lever of geopolitical pressure. A single strategic closure would be enough to skyrocket global crude prices and force Washington to negotiate.
From a position of weakness, this is asymmetric warfare in its purest form. A regional actor challenging a
superpower not with brute force but with geography and economic threat. To back that bet, Iran deployed its system of aerial defense Bavar 373, its most valuable asset, designed to compete with the Russian S-300 with a range of detection of 300 kilometers. Dozens of mobile units were dispersed across the island of Qeshm and the cliffs of Kharg, with radars turned off to avoid anti-radiation missiles. Tehran relied on a single premise: any American response would mean an economic catastrophic that no president could afford. That was their strategic calculus, and it was almost perfect. Almost. Because while Iran watched the screens of its command centers, the USS Gerald R. Ford, a $13 billion floating fortress, had already positioned its strike group. Sutter's out of range of any Iranian coastal missile in the safe waters of the Arabian Sea. From there, its eyes and ears. Long range operated in complete silence. The giant had not slept, it had only waited. At 3:15 hours, the commander of the USS Carney received the most unusual order of his career. EM-Con Alpha. Total electronic silence. All radars off. All signals went silent. In that instant, the massive destroyer faded from the simulated tactical display, as if the ocean itself had swallowed its trace. Navigating through documented minefields, the Carney slipped into Iranian waters until it was just 120 nautical miles from Kharg Island. It was a loaded weapon moving in the dark without its own radar, without needing one, because its eyes were in the sky. Its AN/APY-9 radar can simultaneously track hundreds of targets, separating real threats from decoys with the precision of a surgeon. All that tactical picture traveled in real time to the Carney through Link 16, NATO's high-speed tactical data exchange network. The destroyer didn't need to see, it only needed to aim. At 03:45 hours, Iran responded. Coastal missile launchers were activated.
A fleet of high-speed boats surrounded the strategic straits. Iranian state television firmly declared.
global oil prices rose 9% in 2 hours. The world held its breath.
At 03:55 hours, US cyber units activated a logic bomb implanted weeks before in Iranian internal control servers. The systems entered infinite reboot loops. The kill chain was cut before it could even be activated.
Simultaneously, from the deck of the USS Ford,
took off the Boeing EA-18G Growler, the most lethal electronic warfare aircraft in the Western world.
Think of the Growler as military noise-canceling headphones, but instead of blocking the neighbor's music, it screams at maximum intensity on every frequency that the Iranian army uses to stay alive. The result was immediate. Iran's integrated defense network ceased to be a network.
It became a collection of isolated outposts, incapable of communicating with each other.
If you were the Iranian commander at this moment, would you choose A, activate all radars and reveal your position, or B, remain silent and open? At 03:55 hours, the USS Carney broke its silence in the only way that mattered. From the Mark 41 vertical launch system.
But these didn't fly high. They descended to barely 15 meters above the surface of the sea,
hugging the curvature of the Earth to remain invisible to manual observers on the cliffs of Karg.
A Tomahawk flying at that altitude is like a ghost skimming the water. You hear it a second before it's too late. The control of the missiles was immediately transferred
to the F-35C Lightning II pilots flying over the area. This isn't just tactical coordination, it's a system of systems in action.
The Carney fires, the F-35 guide us, the Hawkeye observes. 3 distinct platforms, a single digital brain. When the sensors of the F-35C detected a new Iranian anti-aircraft battery.
Emerging in front of the trajectory of the missiles, the pilot reprogrammed the flight routes in real time,
dodging danger zones with millimeter precision. The Tomahawks danced through the Iranian barrage,
as if they knew every trap in advance. At 04:20 hours, the situation under the water became critical.
A Virginia-class submarine had been stationed at the bottom of the Gulf for weeks. All acoustic data was transmitted to the Virginia submarine in real time, but Iran had its own ace up its sleeve. The Kilo-class submarine, nicknamed the Black Hole for its capacity to absorb acoustic signals, had completely turned off its engines, resting completely immobile on the rocky bottom to evade all detection. During the first hours of the operation, the US sensors simply could not find it. At 04:35 hours,
the trap was closed, feeling that the perimeter of
Tate's sonar buoys was approaching its position. The Kilo had no more options. It activated its electric motors and ascended.
A salvo of Test 71 heavy torpedoes abandoned its tubes, aiming directly
at the American escort formation. The situation went from bad to catastrophic. The hunters had just become the prey. Do you think the Virginia submarine can neutralize the threat before the torpedoes reach the fleet? Comment 1 if you trust US submarine technology. At 04:40 hours, when the attention of the American fleet was concentrated on the submarine threat, Iran executed its boldest strike.
The Bavar 373 air defense systems, which had remained with their radars off all night, hidden in concrete bunkers simultaneously. Dozens of mobile units turned on their radars at the same time, coordinating a coverage arc that spanned the entire narrow.
and a speed of Mach 0.9 was launched from mobile coastal platforms.
Dozens of targets appeared simultaneously on the screens of the USS Carney.
The Aegis radar went into overload during the
first seconds, incapable of prioritizing threats at that saturation speed. This
You don't overcome the enemy with a superior weapon, you drown them with volume. Iran achieved something that few regional forces have achieved, forcing the Aegis system to its operational limits. Using backup frequencies, Iranian operators managed to partially interfere American communications. They shot down 2 Tomahawks in flight and forced the MH-60R Seahawk to execute.
Continuous evasive maneuvers under anti-aircraft fire. Inside the Carney's Combat Information Center.
The voice of the operations officer cut the air with a tension that few had heard before.
We've been tactically outmatched. The Bavar 373 is blocking the fleet. We have lost.
General vision. For the first time since the start of the operation, the US Navy found itself genuinely cornered. Iran had not only survived, it had seized the initiative, forcing the giant to reveal its last card. The paper tiger had shown real claws, and now the world held its breath, waiting for Washington's response. At 0445 hours, the US Navy did not panic. It activated a contingency plan calculated to the second. First, the sky. The EA-18G Growler changed its ALQ-99 equipment to barrage jamming mode at total destructive intensity. In less than 20 seconds, a wall of electronic interference swept the frequency spectrum of the Bavar 373, blinding its guidance radars just when its missiles prepared for the final shot. The digital god of war had erased the sight of the enemy with a single gesture. Taking advantage of that electronic vacuum, the F-35Cs executed a lightning tactical pivot. From their internal weapons bays, they launched AGM-88 HARM missiles, radar hunters with a speed of Mach 2 that
followed the Bavar 373's own signal directly to its source. The most valuable air defense systems of Iran
were decapitated in a single blow. The strategic eraser had gone into action.
The acoustic signature of the Kilo the instant it activated its motors. A Mark 48 ADCAP torpedo, 650 pounds of
explosive traveling at 55 knots, left its launch tube. The shockwave split the hull of the Iranian submarine.
In 2, Tehran's shark became prey to the American Orca. Titanium confetti on the bottom of the Gulf. On the surface, the Carney's Aegis system, now fed with real-time data from the E-2D via link.
16 launched SM-6 missiles that swept the cloud of Shahed drones, reducing them to harmless metallic fragments falling into the sea.
On JDAM bomb. The bomb pierced 3 meters of reinforced concrete before detonating. Any possibility of organized resistance.
Iranian resistance was buried under the rubble. In less than 12 minutes, the chaos that had threatened to engulf the fleet was extinguished.
Karg's defensive arsenal was now a collection of smoking, molten steel. Iran had shown its cards.
The US Navy answered them with a royal flush, dawn over Hormuz. At 0530 hours, as
the sun began to peak over the Persian Gulf, the strategic reality was exposed without ambiguity.
840,000 barrels of oil continued to flow through the Strait of Hormuz. Every hour the global energy markets remained stable.
The Kilo submarine rested on the bottom of the Gulf. The Bavar 373 were
smoking scraps scattered across the cliffs of Karg and the USS Gerald R. Ford.
Ton sailed intact, without having fired a single missile from its deck. At 06 hours, Iran initiated a tactical withdrawal.
The state media broadcast images of defensive exercises completed with success. They're called it victory. But the satellites do not lie, and the whole world was watching them. The strategic lesson was brutal in its simplicity in modern warfare. The first blow is not won by the one who fires first, but by the one who blinds the enemy before they can see.
The Iranian kill chain was lobotomized before activating. Without data, its most advanced missiles
were nothing more than expensive metal pointing to the darkness. The cost for Iran. Illusion that they could control the rules of the game in their own waters. For the crew of the USS Carney and the USS Gerald R. Fort, it was simply another Tuesday in the office. But the history ends here. Iran still controls its land-based ballistic capabilities. The guardians of the revolution do not forget.
And the Strait of Hormuz will continue to be the most volatile pressure point on the planet. Do you think Iran will remain in silence or bet
again? Leave us your analysis in the comments. If this analysis opened your eyes about modern warfare, give it a like.